I've been sitting here for a while trying to figure out a top 10 because that would mean that some horses. I have a horse I had to take off the top 10 that won yesterday. That won her set. There was a couple of horses that were almost dead heats, right? I went back and looked at Taiwan On and Arches Rainbow. I don't know which one of those horses won. They were literally, from my vantage point, a dead heat. My list started with 18. I'll tell you the 8 that I took off. Will to Win Hanover didn't win. I took her off my top 10 for yesterday. World for Two did not win. Took him off my top 10 for yesterday. I had to. These mostly were winners, right? Unbeatable Kemp didn't get up to beat 1-2 Skip a few. Amy's not going to be happy, but I had to take him off. Hill of Magic, I thought it was closer than that at the wire. I watched again. Of Tom beat me, fair and square. I took her off. Luck of the Dragon was beat by Eyes of 10. Took her off. Massive Profit was beat by Prairie Fire. Took him off. And Luck of the Dragon. Both of them off. Slim Jimmy, you got beat. I watched the video twice. Mischievous Rose beat him. Took him off the list. So we're left with, who was the last one off? Blue Bayou Dio looked incredible. I talked about how good she looked. Talked about how good I thought she was yesterday. But then really, what does it boil down to? If I have 11, all 11, I'm looking at them, either one or perceivably dead heated. Every horse on my list. Better Be Sawyer's not on this list either. She was nosed out the wire from what I could see in my vantage point. But of the 11 horses I thought were winners in 10 sets, Blue Bayou Dio, she made breaks coming into yesterday. When I looked at all the horses that I put on my top 10, I thought there were 10 horses that belonged on the list ahead of her. And I thought Blue Bayou Dio was fantastic. So with Better Be Sawyer added to that list and a host of others that I haven't even talked about, that's 19 I had for my top 10 list. But I'm going to stick to 10. So, where does that leave us? Number 10, 1-2 Skip a Few. I could have put Blue Bayou Dio on ahead of her because Skippy was Skippy. But you could see the grit and determination she had, and that was no slouch chasing her down. We were smoking we had to come 32 seconds in the jog cart on the end of it. And for her to hold off the way, she was rickety, still going. We have a few little spots the vet found. We're going to keep chipping away. But for her to be as rickety as she was and then just dig down, find another gear, just drive herself into 5th gear the whole way down the lane, that was an impressive training trip. She belonged at number 10. So number 10, 1-2 Skip a Few. Number 9, Taiwan On. This is a filly that just looked great. She looked like she commanded them the whole way. She actually looked like James doubled her up. She shouldn't have been at 9. She should have been at 8. We should have probably switched those horses. Arches Rainbow and her at 8 and 9. I couldn't tell who won the set. Arches Rainbow, I thought maybe had her, but Taiwan On was just convincing the whole way. At no point there was no concerns, and I think if James really dropped the hammer coming out of the turn, I don't think Johnny could have caught up to him. James just let him, which is fine. They were just training, but when it comes to those horses, I think they were very equal yesterday. I can't really say who won the set, Arches Rainbow or Taiwan On, but they both trained very, very good. So call them a tie for 8th and 9th. Very happy with both those fillies yesterday. Number 7 was Spent. Looked like he won his set fairly easily. You can see him with his head right between his legs. Eventually, we're going to have to get him over here. We'll get that head jacked up a little bit. But training good and trained great yesterday. Again, Johnny's done a great job with him. Spent was very good. Not as good as Prairie Fire. In fact, Prairie Fire, as of yesterday, unless I was fed incorrect information from Ontario, is the fastest 2-year-old trotter we have right now. 2:13 pretty handily at Northfield Park yesterday. We can say Tamiko's short, right, or whatever, but Northfield's not, right? You can say, oh, yes, it is. I watched the races. This is maybe the fastest half-mile track I've ever been on. And Prairie Fire certainly took advantage of it. Man, he looked good. 2:13 and 2. Last half in 3 and a bit. He looked really good. Travis was very happy with him. I couldn't catch him with Massive Profit, and you guys know how I feel about Massive Profit. So kudos. Prairie Fire looked fantastic yesterday. He comes in at number 6. Number 5, I could have put him at 1 because he's the fastest horse we have as of yesterday. Definitely the most improved 2-year-old of this year. Maybe the most improved 2-year-old in the universe. I've never had a horse improve this much in such a short period of time. We had As I said, Sweet Ambitions was bad last week, but the week before was incredible. Perfect record. Raced great. Terrible. I made a break last week, but the first week looked great at the Meadowlands. Two massive turnarounds, but even those two stories pale in comparison to Procrastinator. I don't think I can properly articulate the concern I had with this horse, and then to see him just get better and better and better. Well, good for him. Greg's done a great job. The caretakers have done a great job, and the horse has done an exceedingly good job turning into a better horse. Procrastinator, now Mario told me 12 or 13. James said they beat him by 6 lengths, and he won a mile in 2:11. So I'm going to call it a flat 2:10. But he looked fit. That's a half and 1-1 in the jog card. Procrastinator was very, very good yesterday. He comes in at 5 only because the 4 ahead of him have been hanging out there for a while. I guess one of them, no. I could have put him in 4th. 3 Point Blue Chips at 4th. We've been waiting for this horse to come forward. Now, I asked James, I don't care about the mile. Yeah, he looked great. How did he do it? Did he seem a little cranky, a little sour? Was he pulling up at all? Was he doing the things we don't want him to be doing? And James said no. He did everything perfect, sprinted on the end of it. Good job by him, good job by James. Waiting a long time to be talking about 3 Point Blue Chip, but he looked very good in attacking yesterday. First over, shot past the leader, and then held off a hard-charging filly in Better Be Sawyer, pacing filly. So 3 Point Blue Chip, good job by James and the horse and the caretakers. This horse looked incredible yesterday. Now for the top 3, and you may not agree. In fact, 3 probably might not have made it on your list. Where's number 2? 2 should have. Number 1's not shocking. Number 3, Mischievous Rose. This filly just shows so much talent. This is a filly that came first over. Yeah, we've seen her kind of hide away and have her good days and bad days. We changed some gear and some shoeing, I believe, on her. And then Gianni come first over, and you could just see her grind Slim Jimmy into the ground and just roar past him at the wire. Slim Jimmy's going to be a fun horse to drive all year. But I'm going to tell you what, Mischievous Rose, really, really nice filly. Number 2, Voyage of Ice and Fire. I don't even think Voyage of Ice and Fire was awesome yesterday. I just think he was good. I came first over, had to pick at him, roared at him coming out of the turn. You know, he beat them. But I honestly, it sounds silly saying it, but he wasn't awesome. And I think both him and Matt's MVP tied up a little bit. I could see him finishing up his mile and his tail kind of popped up in the air. Just a little sign of discomfort. I believe Voyage of Ice and Fire tied up a little bit. So, he was still great, still won a set, and still looked convincing. If you watch the race, if you watch the set, you'd be like, man, that horse looked like $1 million. I sit behind him all the time. He was just good on Saturday, but still knows what to do. Got to the head of the lane, shook the lines at him, called on him. Man, he was all business. And number 1, if there was any doubt heading into the summer, at least up till now, thus far, who our number 1 trotting filly in Ohio was, it was put to rest yesterday. Eyes at 10 looked incredible. This is Lawmaker's sister. This is a filly that Amy loves to death. And when I put her in gear yesterday, and to be quite frank, her best training miles have not come on the front end. Just no two ways about it. Have not come on the front end. I put her on the front and held off 2 pacers. 2 very good, 1 very, very good pacer, and a pacer we think pretty highly of, even in the little guy, Confederate Cruiser. A little side note away from all this, Confederate Cruiser's brother went in 53 flat 2 weeks ago at Miami Valley. Full brother, I believe. Little food for thought there. Same size, same gait. You watch him, it looks like a mirror image of the little fella. So happy there. Back to our list. Eyes at 10, incredible yesterday. Very, very strong. 2:15 last quarter and 32 seconds last half and 1:05. Just looked very, very good. So impressed with Eyes at 10. Impressed with almost everybody yesterday. I can make a case for upwards of 20-25 horses to be on any sort of top list yesterday. But when it comes right down to it, I had to chop everything away and make it my own top 10 list. So just giving you a little rundown, little backtrack. Number 10, 1-2, skip a few. Number 9, Taiwan On. She's tied with Archer's Rainbow for 8 and 9. They were both right there at the wire and both looked very, very good training. Number 8. Where are you at, number 8? Oh, that Archer's Rainbow. Number 7, Spent. Number 6, Prairie Fire. Number 5, Procrastinator. Number 4, 3 Point Blue Chip. Number 3, Mischievous Rose. Number 2, Voyage of Ice and Fire. And the Queen is back. Eyes at 10 takes over the number 1 spot. She looked awesome yesterday. So that's my top 10 list from yesterday. That is encompassing yesterday's work on both sides of the border. A great job by Curtis. Steve, I believe the guy's name is here. Steve, Curtis, Luke, everybody that made it possible. All our caretakers that had the horses ready to go out. All the trainers had the horses ready to rock. Yesterday was a huge success. I hope you had fun. I did. We'll be back very soon. I'm not going to say next week. We'll have another drone set coming up for you. Another drone day coming up for you in the near future. So, with that, I just have to work on the stables. Still have to work on the stables. And I'll be back at you guys very, very soon.